kind of surreal, I know it's not my night, but um, it's an honor and a pleasure. I met Dell 2011, September 2011, when he was the program director here. And every day, Dell would say something profound. I mean, there was always a Dellism that was so true. And one of my favorites was peel back the layers, peel back the onion. And over the years, um, I've got to be very close to Dell. Um, from from being a resident to working here, um, he is someone that was always a mentor to me. He's someone that I could always trust that would give me the truth that I needed to hear. Um, he would let me believe my own bullshit. Um, and just a moment to you guys. I don't know if you know it, but landing here really is truly a blessing. Um, my life has never been the same since September 2011, since I stepped on this property. Um, and there's not a day that doesn't go by that I'm not thankful for this place and for the men and women that help us all recover here. So without further ado, Mr. Dale.
Holy. Hello, everyone. My name is Dale, and I'm a recovered addict alcoholic.
Hey, Dale.
It is really cool to have an opportunity to come and give back to a place like this. I started as a client in 2010, and I've got about 13 and a half years sobriety. That would not be possible, had it not been for the message, that was presented to me as a client here, and all the wonderful, really cool people that I've met along the way. And having people in my life that tell me the truth, even when it pisses me off, right? Because we need that. And thank you to all the parents and the families. This is not an easy task. This is not an easy journey, right? And I get that, right? Kids don't come with books and manuals. There's not a section you can turn to that says, oh, they might drink too much. Read pages 16. All right. They just don't have that. So I know it's a journey for you guys too. I appreciate you guys coming and being a part of this because it's a family disease and everybody gets sick together, for lack of a better word. But there's also a solution, and the entire family can also recover together, right? And that's, through the sponsorship line, my sponsor always said, it's important that you understand that we are recovered from a hopeless state of mind and body. It's the first promise on the title page of the big book. It says recovered, right? And I know there's always been debate of recovered, recovering, recovery. I really don't give a shit about the ending of the word, but he pointed me to the definition, right? And the definition of recovered is restored to a useful condition. I'm real clear that I'm not cured today by any stretch of the imagination, right? But I do believe that I have been restored to a useful condition. And if I really am honest with myself, I was trying to become useful by using drugs and alcohol, right? The big book talks about what I was like, what I did, and what it's like now. I didn't get sober until I was 47 years old. I would not encourage anyone to wait that long, right? Because we can mess up a lot of stuff in 47 years. And I certainly did that, right? I didn't come to Mark Houston Recovery then thinking I was going to quit Forbidden for All. I came to Mark Houston Recovery because I thought I just need to get my stuff together, right? I just need to get back on track, so to speak, right? Yeah, drinking and meth and Xanax and a whole bunch of other stuff was certainly running off the rails in my life, but that clearly was not the problem, right? If you knew what all I was dealing with in my life, you drink like I do too, right? But I learned real quick that people have a lot of things going on in their life. They don't drink like I did. You know what I'm saying? They don't use meth like I did. They don't eat Xanax like I did or anything else I could get my hands on. You know what I mean? To change the way we feel, right? Now, there definitely was a period in my life when drugs and alcohol did exactly what I needed them to do. I can remember times when drugs and alcohol did just that, right? They made the day a little better. They made something heavy not so heavy, right? They made all the stuff going on in our heads not so loud. But the problem is when it quit working, when I found out that I was just drunk and high and all that stuff was still there, and I was like, this stuff ain't working anymore. I didn't stop doing it. That never tapered off, right? And when I look back at those times, I'm like, well, guess I just didn't want to quit. I'm not hurting anybody. Well, the truth is, we are hurting a lot of people. But there's something when I sense that anyone or anything is trying to get between me and what I think I need to live, to exist, to face life, I get real defensive about that. And I don't understand that looking back, right? Because growing up, I did not have, a horrible childhood. Yeah, some things happened to me as a kid, and I had a lot of different experiences, but I was adopted at birth by two really great people. I've got a sister who was also adopted. They did everything in their power to give us everything they could and everything that they thought we needed, right? Did good in school, right? Got involved in music in second grade, started playing guitar and loved it, right? Went on, played in little bands and did all kinds of stuff. I mean, I did not have a hard childhood, but alcohol showed up really early, right? Like I remember being in junior high and we're sneaking while all the adults are in drinking their Pink Panthers or whatever the heck they were drinking back in the day. And we're grabbing the whiskey and the Wellers and running off back to the back room, right? These big plastic tumblers, thinking we're all sneaky. And I can remember the first time that we decided we were just going to slam this big old plastic tumbler of Wellers. It was like 3 of us, right? Well, they dared me to go first. I don't think it was a dare. I think I probably volunteered. But I drank the whole thing. I slammed the whole plastic tumbler. Just got hammered and remember going, this is good. I like this. This feels wonderful. Now, it wasn't an hour later, I was desperately throwing up everything that I'd ever eaten, it felt like, for a week for the next hour and a half. But even when that stopped, I can still remember going, this was freaking awesome. I need to do this all the time. Didn't think anything wrong with that thought, right? And it kind of continued from there. I mean, looking back, I didn't see it at the time, but looking back, I could see to where the common denominator in almost every area of my life, even in junior high and through high school, was me and drugs and alcohol, right? And I also thought that was okay. I didn't see anything really wrong with that. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's doing it. Everybody's partying like I party. No, they're not. But back then, I don't see these things. 4-wheel drive, more throttle solves every problem as far as I was concerned. If a little bit's good, twice as much is better, right? Tell me I can't do something, I'll go hold my beer and I'll promptly go show you. Nothing ever happens good after the statement, hold my beer. But that was kind of the belief system, right? And that kind of continued all through high school. We were playing little shows. I mean, it's high school. Who's kidding who? But we thought we were freaking rock stars, right? We're playing all these different little parties and stuff, and everybody's drinking, and we're partying and smoking weed. Suddenly somebody showed up with some cocaine. And I can really vividly still remember this day going, oh no, can't do cocaine, that's the hard stuff, right? Well, that lasted all of about 5 minutes till I tried cocaine. And I went, oh my God, this is amazing. Mix this with a little alcohol. What is it? You hear some people say, it's the elixir of the gods, right? That's honestly how I felt about it. And I sought it every chance I got. Still doing okay in school, right? All the other stuff, the rest of the things going on in my life hadn't started blowing up yet in my mind, right? But that was just the belief system that was there. And it kind of continued that way. I mean, the common denominator of me, drugs, and alcohol really were a part of every aspect of my life, right? Went on to college, come home for the holidays. Of course, I'm going to come home for the holidays, but I'm going to drink and I'm going to do some blow before I get to mom and dad's house or the relative's house or wherever the heck I was going, right? If I got some jobs, yeah, I'm going to go to work, but I'm definitely going to drink or do some blow before I go to work. Oh, we're going to go out this weekend? Cool. I'm definitely going to go do some alcohol and blow before I go to the bar to do more alcohol and blow. Like who pre-games, right? It's like, what's the point? You're going to the bar, right? But my mind says, oh, but think all the money you'll save if you just get lit at home. You won't buy as much when you get there. That never was true, right? I always drank just as much, whether I pre-gamed or not. But I never start seeing all these things start clicking as like, this is an issue. I've heard the term, well, I was a functioning addict or alcoholic, right? And I guess that's just my fancy way of saying that I can still do a lot of stuff when I'm loaded. I don't think functioning quite would be the right term. I don't think my parents thought I was functioning on any level, right? I don't think the people who were in my life that really cared about me saw any part of functioning going on. They saw a lot of things going on, but functioning is probably not a word they would use to describe it. And I had the intervention experience. Any of it's like getting woke up, come downstairs, walk into a room, you got family members there, one, maybe two people who you've never seen in your life, and they suddenly stand up and they go, "Dan, we'd like you to sit down. We'd love to talk to you." I'm like, okay, what do we talk? Just about my drinking. Of course it's about my drinking, right? But I don't know about you, but it's another one of those belief systems. I'll call myself an alcoholic because it means I can outdrink your butt. You call me an alcoholic and I want to quit your butt. Right? That's kind of that belief system, right? So as soon as we walk into this group of people who clearly care enough about me that they want to keep me alive, right? What's my first posture? Defensive? You don't know me. You don't know nothing. I didn't tell you to stay up waiting on me all night long. It's not my fault you ain't sleeping. That's my first response, right? If I end up in a hospital because of drugs and alcohol, I get upset because everyone's come to the hospital going, "What's going on, man? What happened to you? Why are you drinking so much? You see what this is doing to your life?" I'm mad, about something like that. Now, if I end up in the hospital for something that wasn't alcohol related, if they all didn't show up, I'm also mad. Why did you all come? Right? So I've got this double set of belief systems going on, but there's something within me where I suddenly get super, super defensive. Like I need to protect my God-given right to drink and use however the heck I want to drink and use. I mean, it's crazy. Again, looking back on it, I can see this now, but I can assure you I didn't see it then. Right? What was it, a marriage relationship of almost 22 years. 2 great kids, right? Ended up owning a couple of my own small businesses. I was a firefighter EMT for almost 13 years. You know, going to school, trying to get an associate's degree in paramedic medicine. Looking back, I understand this step 1 piece, right? I'm powerless. My life's unmanageable. Because here's the thing, if quitting drinking wasn't a problem, quitting drinking wouldn't be a freaking problem. But when I look back at my experience and I go, 20-year relationship, crown royal methamphetamine, my experience shows that I went crown royal methamphetamine. You put my kids in this hand, and I would tell you I would die for them. And I would take a bullet for them. But my experience shows that when my kids were in this hand and drugs and alcohol were in this hand, I went to drugs and alcohol. Right? My career, I loved being a firefighter EMT. It was an awesome freaking job. Right? But I lost that job because I couldn't pass a UA that I had 30 days advance notice on. I think that'd be a wake-up call that you might have a problem. No. And if any of you guys have had those experiences, you get it. Oh, you're going to be UA in 30 days? All right, I'm good. I can still use. 3 weeks, I'm still good. I can still use. 2 weeks, okay, I better taper off. 10 days, I really need to taper off. 4 days before it, oh shit, this is going to be close. The day of, well, screw it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, again, career that I loved in this hand, drugs and alcohol in this hand, and I'm failing the UA I had 30 days advance notice for. You think that there would be a whole bunch of flashing lights going off, going, there is an issue here, right? You can't see what you can't see. And you're not going to see what you don't want to see. I don't want to have this disease. I hope nobody in here has this disease. Because it is a son of a, you know what? It has a couple of goals. One, it wants you loaded or dead and does not care how long it takes to get you there. And it will take everything from you you care about to keep you there. That's what it does. And none of us are in here because we're stupid, right? Like, yeah, did I burn some things to the ground? Absolutely. Did I do some really stupid stuff, hurtful stuff? Absolutely. Those of you that are familiar with 4-step packets, they handed me 4 and said, when you run out, come see me. I had a lot of amends to them. Right? But we still touch people's lives in positive ways. You guys have got some abilities and some insight and some genuineness, right? You're good at some things. You're smart. You're intuitive. You can read a room, right? Nowhere in the big book where the DSM 5, 6, or 7.5 or whatever the hell one we're in these days says, you're stupid, loser, low life, got to live under a bridge and go to prison, you might be an alcoholic. It says a couple of things in the big book. It says, if when you want to, you find you cannot quit entirely, so cool that they knew they needed to add the word entirely to the end of that sentence back in 39. Because if they'd have left it off, I went, I'll quit before. Or if when drinking or using, you find you have little control over the amount you take, you might have this thing. And that's kind of what it boils down to, right? Like my world was a mess. I'd lost the job at the fire department. My businesses were crashing and burning to the ground. The family life was just a mess. My relationships with people that cared about me and that I cared about was a mess. I mean, I'm 6'3", I weighed about 150 wet, thought I looked amazing. Not. It was a mess, right? I didn't have much legal issues in my life until then. My cousin, the sheriff of Kingfisher County, suddenly decided it was time I did something different with my life. Because we'd got into a fight at home, and my son at the time, who was 12, called 911. And of course, my cousin, the sheriff, calls me and says, "What's going on?" I told him, and he goes, "You got to do something different." I said, "Yeah, I will. I'm just going to get out of here and go back to the city." He goes, "I'll have you arrested before you hit the end of your driveway." Never say this to a sheriff. I'd like to see you do that. They can do that. And he had me arrested before I hit the end of my driveway. I should have been in there 24 hours. You come back down the next day and you go, "Well, let you know I talked to the judge. Yeah, we should be letting you out today. But we're keeping you until we find some place for you to go." And for some reason, the fight in me in that moment had left. I mean, I just looked at him and I said, "Cool." You know what I mean? And they did. That was on June the 19th, which is my sobriety date. Also, another telltale sign that you need to be locked up in jail to stop. Probably need a little red flag going on if you got a problem. And on July the 1st, they found a place down here in Texas for me to go to. And I remember telling them, after I'd been there like a week or so, I said, "Look, I don't know where you're going to send me, but I'm going to tell you this. It needs to be a place that can really do something. Because I think I could go in there and fake this thing standing on my head." And I don't know why I would say that. Because I ain't keen about going to treatment, right? But I remember telling them, I was like, "You need to find a place that knows what they're doing, because I think I could do a place like that standing on my head." Because who's kidding who? We're all pretty good actors. We can show up in a certain way. We've been doing it for a lot of years, right? Like, I don't know about you, but I thought I knew who I was. But what I didn't realize was I was reinventing myself based on who I met. I'm going to turn into who I think that person needs me to be. Not who they may really need me to be. Again, who I think this person needs me to be. And that happened with everyone. It happened with my kids, my wife at the time, co-workers, whoever, right? Whoever was in my life. I didn't know who the hell I was. I've been so many different things. I remember sitting the first time in circle. Who are you, Dale? And I think probably one of the first honest things I ever said after I got here was, "I don't know. I'm not real sure. I know who I think I want to be. I think I have an understanding of what I've turned into. And quite honest with you, I don't think I like either one of them. So I don't know, right?" So we end up down here, wonderful place. I don't know how many of you have had all these different experiences with landing in treatment. We're the first day. You're like, "Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. I just really know that my life, it has been crazy. going to be different this time. I appreciate this other opportunity, and you just tell me what to do, and I'm going to do it. About day 8, go yourself. There's a problem with premium select deli meats for lunch. There is a problem with what making my bed every morning has to do with staying sober. Suddenly there's all these problems, right? Where did that gratitude go? You know what I mean? When I first landed here, the big book talks about it, man. I'm beat into submission to a point of surrender, but it does not take long for the disease of alcoholism that centers in my mind to go, all right, back, sup. What you got, right? And suddenly that gratitude's out the window. Thank God there's a community of some other people around me and some staff that have been on that road and can spot it and go, bro, you're full of shit. Sit down. Right? Yes, I did the walk down the driveway. I'm out of here. Boom. No. Every reason under the sun, which absolutely makes sense. Oh, I got to get back to my family. I got to get back to my kids. I got things that I got that thing I got to go do. Right? And I get to the end of the driveway out there. I'm like, am I going to go left or am I going to go right? Back in 2010, there was nothing left or right. There was no tollways. There was no multiple lanes, no Walmart. There was no town. Right? There was a gas station, and I think it was 5 miles if you went as the crow flew, which plenty of us were willing to do. Right? But I remember getting to the end of the driveway going, which way am I going to go, left or right? And it suddenly dawned on me in that moment, it really ain't going to make a damn which way I go. It's not going to be any different. There's not one person I'm going to call that's going to answer the phone and go, you left treatment? Awesome. I am so proud of you. Where are you? I will come get you immediately. Ain't one person going to answer the phone that way, right? Ain't nobody going to be happy about it. And it dawned on me in that moment that nothing was going to change. And it dawned on me in that moment that something absolutely had to change, right? Here comes the guy. Coming up, Dale, what are you doing? Like, well, what do you think I'm doing? We know what you're doing. Come back and sit down. Let's talk. Let's figure something out, right? And one of the coolest experiences, and I can't remember because there was a ton of them, one of the coolest experiences, one of the coolest takeaways, and I think I've shared with some of the guys in here, is like, you absolutely have got to get to a point of I don't know. Because if you got an answer for everything, you ain't gonna learn nothing. And if you ain't gonna learn nothing, ain't nothing gonna be different. You have to get to a point of I don't know. Doesn't mean you're gonna like it. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't like I don't know. I need an answer. Well, I have an answer. You just ask me. But if you get to I don't know, you become teachable. The moment you become teachable, you can learn something new. And the moment you learn something new, everything that comes after it can be different. Because you will no longer be the person you were. Because you learned something new. Right? I need to learn something new. Families, so do you. We all have to get to I don't know in this deal. Because we've been throwing everything at it but the kitchen sink, and sometimes the kitchen sink. Right? As moms, dads, brothers, sisters, we've screamed at our loved ones. We've loved at our loved ones. We've thrown money at them, and we've taken away the money. We've thrown hugs and not hugs. I mean, we have done everything We know we have pulled everything out of our trick bag we can do. We tried to just give them something so that they will be inspired, right? Something that'll cause them to feel how important they are to us, right? Cars, job, I'll get you an apartment, just don't drink, right? Man, if getting me an apartment was enough for me not to drink, I'd have did it. You know what I mean? And all those reasons, once I came back into that wonderful little circle thing that we have here, I said, Dale, what were some of the reasons why you thought you needed to leave? I just wanted to get back to my kids. I wanted to make it right with them. I just wanted to get back to work and do what I needed to do. I just want to get back and take care of my family, right? I want to get back and do things the way I know they're supposed to be done. And they looked at me and they said, well, that's enough for you to leave treatment. Why was it enough to get you in treatment? Why weren't they important enough for you to go? And I couldn't answer that question because it didn't make sense. They should have been enough for me to go, right? They should have been enough for me to stop and stay stopped entirely, right? And when I realized that they weren't, yeah, it killed me. I was like, are you kidding me? My son's not big enough. My daughter's not big enough. That ain't right. What is going on? How did I get here? You know what I mean? And I remember as they start walking us through the steps in here, you know, you look at one, powerless, unmanageability. It's like, yeah. It's like, oh, I get that. Well, do you? Because you realize some of the most insane things you do without any drugs or alcohol in your body. Right? Like, I don't know about you, I was so drunk last night, I got the fire. I was so drunk last night, I wrecked my truck. I was so drunk, I lost my job. You know what you can't say? I was so drunk, I got drunk. You cannot blame drugs and alcohol for everything. Because one of the first lies I tell is when I ain't got any drugs or alcohol. When somebody says, are you going to drink? No. No. So I can't say that my dishonesty was only when I was drinking. I can't say that my manipulation I only did when I was high. I can't say that I took money from people because I was drinking. A lot of the times I did all those things before I'd ever put that stuff in my body. Right? That's the unmanageability that's included in that step one piece. That's the powerlessness that's included in that step one piece. It's like, yeah, I get it, man. When I start again, I go, except for a few times when I can say, no, we didn't go off the rails. It's a big freaking deal. 3 times a year does not make up for the 300 other times that it went completely ballistic. Right? But I'll latch on to those 3 times and go, oh, I must not be the real thing. Right? See, my powerlessness in step one, drinking is automatic. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's a little switch over here, and I don't even have to look at it or flip it. My powerlessness is the fact that I can't choose not to. Right? I cannot think of one time I bought an 8-ball of cocaine on Tuesday and held it till Saturday. Didn't even sound like a good plan. Nor can I think of one time I bought it on Tuesday, saved it till Saturday, and didn't do all of it Saturday. Because I did. Right? And I remember that ease and comfort, right, that the book talks about back in 7th grade, that alcohol, that blow, and I was like, whoa, this is freaking awesome. That's the effect produced that I was chasing. But at some point in my using and drinking career, I started blowing right by feel good to stupid. Oh, I'm a big old boy. It must take me more. No, bro, you blew by feel good a 5th ago. or an 8 ball ago, right? Like if you're a speed freak, like, how do I get stuff done? Let's go do something. Right? It's like, when did the effect produced become moving so fast I couldn't move? And whispering in my home because the people 5 miles away might hear me. When did that become an effect produced I was going for? Right? When did that happen? That doesn't sound cool to me, but I did it all the time. Right? I'm going right by feel good to stupid. You got a problem? Nah, I'm good. But it was a problem. And my intellect told me it was a problem. Right? The line of the book says, self-knowledge avails of nothing. Knowing I got a problem ain't gonna solve anything. I'm gonna have to do something. It's just going to cause me to do something. I've got to get to a state of I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm a firefighter. We run into burning buildings and everyone's running out. You tell me I can't do something, I'm like, yes, I can. I can absolutely do this. Why don't you stop? I don't want to. Bull. You can't. Right? And when that finally starts sinking in, because the 12 steps try to teach us so that we'll look at us, look at our action, look at my experiences, right? You were there. Hello. It's not me trying to convince you of anything. It's just a matter of looking this way and going, wait, did you do that, man? I did. Did you have that experience? Yeah, I did. The craziest thing, and if you haven't had some of those experiences yet, is that this little book, published what, in 39, written in 34, can't remember what the heck the years exactly, they haven't changed any words in it. And we can sit here in 2023 and go, oh crap, I did that last week. Like, it'll describe an experience or a thought process or a belief system or a prejudice, right? These guys are writing about this stuff in the 30s, and I'm sitting here in 2023 going, oh my God, there might be something to this. And I remember walking into, the PD's office, and I was like, look, I think I got this thing. And I don't know what you're offering, but it better work. Because there's 2 things I'm pretty sure on right now. One, I don't want to use or drink again. With every fiber of my being, right now in this moment, I don't want to ever use or drink again. And the other thing that I'm pretty sure about is that when I leave here, I'm going to use and drink again. And they said, cool. Do the work. Have your own experience with it. Right? Don't take my word for it. Come get you some. Because that's the cool thing about this program of recovery. It's available to everyone, but you're going to have to do some stuff. Right? I can't sit on the couch wishing I was drunk and get drunk. I can't sit on a chair wishing I was sober and get sober. We got to do some things. Right? Well, they're asking me to do something I don't want to do. Guess what? Don't care. You've already come in here and done some things that you didn't want to do. Like, I don't know about you, but I got high and drunk when I did not want to. Right? I showed up at a kid's basketball game drunk when I did not want to. I failed a UA with 30 days advance notice to keep a job I loved when I did not want to. I already have experience with doing things that I don't want to do. This program is going to ask me to do some things that I don't want to do. But I'm going to have to get to I don't know. So I can learn something. So I can learn how to come at life differently, right? I'm going to have to come to believe that a power greater than myself is going to restore me to sanity. I don't know what that means. turn my life, my will over to the care of God, as you understand it. What the hell does that mean? They said, change power and God to crown and meth and tell me you haven't already worked both those steps. You absolutely came in here believing that Crown Royal was going to restore you to sanity. You were the only one in your group of friends, but you believe that. And you absolutely turned your life and your will over to the care of Crown and methamphetamine. Because you thought about it and did it before everything that you did. Right? So you have experience with what that step is asking you to do. We're just offering you a solution. We're offering you a pathway to another way of life. Now, just between me and you, this post is freaking badass. Just saying. And I did not think it would be. I didn't believe it the whole entire time, and that's okay. Right? But we have to do some things. You know what I mean? We have to learn how to come at life differently. We have to get a connection to something bigger than us. Because on my own power, I fall short. And if I try to get too sucked into that, I will beat myself into oblivion thinking that I'm a failure or I'm no good or I'm worthless or, you know, why am I such a loser? You know what I'm saying? But not one time would I say that if I had appendicitis and couldn't solve my appendicitis. Like I got appendicitis and somebody says, you're going to need a doctor. I'm like, yeah, I do. When can we go? Somebody says, you might suffer from alcoholism. You got a treatment. Go feed yourself. I got this. And we just don't. You know what I'm saying? That solution, if you're like me, stopped working a long time ago, but we have an utter inability to stop turning to it anyway. Just all there is to it. Staying sober has been taken off my to-do list because I suck at it. Right? Now, I understand I still have an addict, alcoholic state of mind. Like I drive down I-35 through Austin, and I can count every drop of condensation on the Dos Equis billboard and think that's sexy. Makes no sense, but I'm like, that looks pretty cool. No one else does that. They don't walk into Chili's past the bar and go, they don't do that. They go, I wonder what the special is. You know what I mean? So I get it. You know, I understand that that's there. That's why I know that I'm not cured, right? Like the big book uses the term recovery, recover. There's promises throughout this thing that talk about what this way of life has to offer and that it's available to everyone. And it's about getting connected to a power greater than us, whatever your understanding of that power is. I don't know what that power is today. I just know that it is. Because like I said, my kids weren't big enough. That 20-year relationship wasn't big enough. Careers weren't big enough. My health was not big enough. You'd think health, round of math, better lean towards the health. Didn't. Freedom. You think freedom over here in this hand, round roll of methamphetamine in this hand, that'd be a no-brainer. Had to study it a little bit. It makes no sense, right? I've got to gain access to a power greater than myself. And to this day, I don't know what that power is, right? And the cool thing is I don't have to. I just have to have an understanding and start out with a willingness to believe that something bigger than me, pardon my French, gives two shits about me. And I can access that power whenever I need it. Right? I mean, I call my creator, hey, you, God. Sometimes, if I'm fully transparent, a few other colorful expletives. But I know that it exists, right? In my understanding, not that I'm a big workout guy, but I look at it like asking for a spot. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure some of you people work out in here, right? You'll throw down on the bench press. You don't even know the dude, right? We're sitting there, like, hey, bro, give me a spot. Don't even think twice about it. Lay down. Some total stranger responsible for making sure I don't crush myself trying to lift a weight that I shouldn't be lifting, and I'm cool with it, right? Then you come to treatment and they go, hey, you're gonna have to come believe in power greater than you. It's like, whoa, what's that? You're gonna have to prove to me that this power is gonna do what I need it to do. You're going to have to prove to me and show me examples of how it's done it in the past. You're going to have to prove to me all these things, right? So put that in the gym. Hey, bro, you want a spot? Sure. Hold up. How many spots you done today? Have you dropped any? What's your biggest lift? We don't do that. Right? We go in and ask for a spot. I don't want that dude to touch the bar. You know what I'm saying? I do not want him to lift the weight. I want to lift the weight, but I want to know that if I get up there in that one spot where this side's like this and this side's up here, and for whatever reason I cannot get this one up here, I want to know that that dude's going to go. And he may not even touch the bar, right? And suddenly I push up through it. He says, come on, get another one. I'm like, okay. Barely survived the last one. Come on, get another one. Okay. So I drop it down again and I come up and I get hung up. Once the guy comes in, barely touches the bar. And I'm able to push through it. Right? And he says, come on, get another one. Okay. So I go down again, right? I come in this time. He reaches in, he's got to put a little pressure on it. He helps me get it up, helps me set it where it needs to be. It goes, great job. And I go, thank you. That's what my relationship looks like with my creator today. I know that if I need a spot, I can lean in. I don't want this power to do it for me. There's no growth in that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to stay benching 100 pounds forever and go, okay, I'm good. I want to be challenged so that I can grow, right? It talks about growing in understanding and effectiveness. I want to know that when I need a spot, I can lean in and ask for a spot, and there's going to be one there. And that has absolutely been my experience. And there's been some times when it said, come on, let's get another one. I'm like, no. And he's like, come on, we can do this. You know what I mean? There's one of the third step promises. There's a line in there that talks about how we can face life successfully, right? I think it's super cool that they didn't word it, be successful in life. It says face life successfully. I don't know about you, but that's what I was trying to have drugs and alcohol do for me. I just wanted to be able to face life successfully. And what I found that access to this power and going in and asking for a spot, right, has allowed me to face life successfully for the last 13 and a half years. Not to be confused with being successful in life. I've lost friends. I've experienced tragedy, right? I've had some personal challenges in my life. But I faced them successfully, right? I didn't get high at any of them. I didn't get drunk at any of them. And that's what I really wanted. You know what I mean? And that's what you all have access to. A way of life that is freaking unreal. You are going to have to do some things. But asking for a spot is not a big thing. And you can do it whenever you want to. And when it's hard, this thing is like a shoulder-to-shoulder deal, right? Like I'm not up here because I'm more spiritual than you, more recovered than you, more sober than you. No. It's none of that. The only difference between maybe me and others in here is I've been walking this path a little longer, or maybe I've been walking this path not as long. But either way, we are shoulder to shoulder in this thing. And when I get to a point where I'm like, damn, I can't take this next step, I got two other people going, cool, we'll step it with you. And whenever somebody next to me goes, bro, I can't take this step, then I get to turn to him and go, cool, I'm gonna take it with you. Right? That's what it's about. Resolutely turn our thoughts to someone we can help. Paying it forward. You know what I'm saying? Even when it's tough. Having people in your life that you will hear even when they piss you off. Because I need to be told the truth. And I care about you enough to tell you the truth, even if it pisses you off. Call them on. Damn. I'm okay with that.